How's it going, y'all? Dirty B here, and in this video we're going to cover making the coil and doing the insulation for the kiln. Making the coil requires a little bit of math. It's really not that difficult. We're going to get into that right now. So a lot of this you could just copy off of me if you're plugging into a standard wall outlet and making a similar size kiln. I'm going to show it to you here. It's not really that complicated. So first you want to know what your wall outlet that you have, and pretty much if it's a standard wall outlet, it's going to be 120 volts by 15 amps. That gives you 1800 watts. Now you don't want to push it to its max of 1800 watts. You do about 75%, which will give you 1350 watts. So now you want to figure out your ohms. So that's your volts squared divided by the watts that you want to use, not the full watts it delivers, the watts that you're using to save 75%. So that will end up giving you, this is your ohms right here. So if you're going to use the same length of wire, now you could change the wire, because this number right here, if you're using a standard wall outlet, that's the number of ohms that you want to hit. So if you wanted to change up the wire, you could figure this part out differently. But I use 16 gauge Canthal A1 wire. When you look it up, it's got a resistance of 0.324 ohms per foot. So I just take the ohms that I got from this calculation here, divide that by the ohms, and that will give me 33 feet. So that's the amount of this wire that I want to use for the kiln. The coils have nothing to do with the electrical part. The coils basically just let you fit it into your kiln. So here's the math to figure out the coils. So we have 33 feet of wire that we're going to use. So your wire length divided by pi times the diameter of the rod that you're going to wrap around. So I'm going to wrap it around a 1/2 inch rod. And if you convert the 33 feet to inches, it gets you 396 divided by pi times 0.5 gives you 229. So that's the number of coils that it will take to wrap up 33 feet. So now to figure out the length of that coil, we take the number of coils and times it by the diameter of the wire. So that 16 gauge is 1.3 millimeters. And when we do the math, we get 297. And to turn that into inches, we divide it by 25.4. So we get 11.7 inches unstretched. So then we'll stretch that out, and you stretch it about double to triple. So we're going to get it to about 2 feet around there. So making the elements for a kiln now, you're going to need 33 feet of this wire. You could go, I'm going to actually, I think, cut 34. And then I can like trim it down or whatever a little bit. From what I've gathered, you're better being slightly on the long side. So it's probably hard to see. I got a teeny little hole in there. So I need 34 feet. Wind the whole thing by hand around this bar. 34 feet. This is not going to be fun. Alright, here it is. My coil. Yep. Wink, 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 wink. It's like a little slinky. Sweet. Alright, got that done. 12 and a half. 14. Cut's really easy. This knife doesn't go all the way through, so you gotta basically do it twice. I think I got through on that one. And then we'll do the same thing here. I'm just gonna give it a slight bend to get it through the door. some of this stuff, like, you might want to wear a mask. I'm not. And that's maybe not the best idea on my spot, but. I got that all up and in there. And the nice thing is, it seems to pin itself, so maybe I won't need quite as much wire going through the outside as I thought. There's a little leeway on this because it's, you know, it's soft and you're shoving it into place. So that's why you don't necessarily have to be like, see, that was, I just guesstimated it and it's gonna fit in because I feel like since it's soft, it has some give. And then if you want it to really be like nice, you want to go just a slight bit over and like force it into position. If you do happen to be off on a gap, you could always take some of this extra shit here and just shove it in, even some stuff like that probably. For some reason I like hitting the bottom first. So there we go. Look at that. Alright. So that got us through that one. So I got the thermocouple in there. So I just got to put these things in. The insulators for the element. You got to basically, you remember I put a foot extra. So I got about 6 inches off either side. I'll use a little bit of that, but a lot of it's going to get cut off. That's why I did the foot extra. Now this has to be stretched out 2 to 3 times size, which is, looks like it takes a bit of overstretching. So you can see I got an extra piece of this ceramic blanket right in here. The coil is now like sort of sealed in a little groove because of that. Because what you want to do here is we want to create like a little staple. We're going to have to basically push it through both those at once. We really want to miss those coils. This wire cannot touch the coil since it's touching the outside of the kiln, and that will have a ground going to it. I want to remind you all, as I'm doing this, I'm no expert. This is the first kiln I ever built. So this video is sort of an instructional video to help you do this, but I want you to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. It's kind of more an inspiration than a definitive like how-to from an expert. So it's not the prettiest looking, but it's in there. And I basically ended up putting this whole piece, so it actually is going to give me more insulation in the roof. All right, there she is. Only thing left to do is the wiring. I got the doors all ceramic fibered up. They stay up on their own because of this handle design. And then the whole door stays up too. All right, that's gonna do it for this video. The next video, we're gonna cover the wiring and how to program the controller and just my thoughts after using the kiln for a little while. All right, so we got the insulation and the coil done. Thanks for watching, y'all. Really appreciate it. If you liked the video, hit the like, hit the sub, post notifications, leave me a comment. All that shit helps out a whole bunch. And until the next video, Thanks bunch. Dirty Beat out.